Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Kim. And I want to thank you and your team from the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana for all of your hard work in organizing this conference. And thanks to all of the sponsors for your generosity, and to all of you in attendance today for your presence. The state of our coast. I've always found the name of this conference to be very fitting as we gather to discuss the state of our coast, but particularly this year as our theme of the conference, Together Again. Since we've last gathered, we have experienced challenges like we have never could have imagined. A pandemic, devastating hurricanes, and losing members of our coastal family. But despite these challenges, our resolve, our funding, our projects, and our partnerships have never been stronger. The state of our coast has never been stronger. Our primary mission at CPRA is to deliver projects that protect the people who live in coastal Louisiana, and to save a culture that you can't find anywhere else in the world. Since 2007, we have invested over $23 billion into our coast. That investment has allowed us to dream big and implement record-breaking protection and restoration projects across South Louisiana. We just cut the ribbon on the largest ridge and marsh creation project ever constructed, Spanish Pass, restoring over 1,600 acres of land and 7 miles of new ridge in South Plaquemines Parish. And we'll be breaking that record soon with the completion of the Lake Bourne Marsh Creation Project, which will create and nourish over 2,800 acres of new land. These projects are only a fraction of the more than 56,000 acres of new land that we have restored since 2007. In my opinion, we oftentimes speak too narrowly about the value of restoration projects. These projects provide nursery habitat for our fisheries. They support long-standing and still thriving cultures. They support a tradition of recreational use and enjoyment of the outdoors and an appreciation of nature. They also buffer storm surges and provide many other benefits to our people and environment that are too many to name. Over the last few years, we have built a fortress around Southeast Louisiana. The overwhelming majority of this area can now take comfort in being behind some level of risk reduction, thanks to projects like New Orleans to Venice, the hurricane storm damage risk reduction system around this area, and we have also made incredible progress on Morganza to the Gulf, West Shore Lake Pontchartrain, and we will soon be starting work on Upper Barataria and St. Tammany hurricane protection projects. Over the last several years, our investments in Southwest Louisiana have significantly increased, and hundreds of millions of dollars will soon be invested in Southwest Coastal and funding other long-awaited projects in areas that were impacted by Hurricanes Laura and Delta. Across our coast, we've improved over 370 miles of levees, protecting the homes, businesses, and the way of life for over 2 million Louisianans. That's half of our state's entire population. We've also restored nearly 72 miles of barrier islands, our first line of defense against hurricanes and tropical storms. In addition to these accomplishments and opportunities, we are also following through on decades of planning, decades of science, and decades of outreach by finally breaking ground on two of the most important projects in the history of coastal Louisiana: the river reintroduction in the Maurepas Swamp and the Mid-Barataria sediment diversion. At long last, diversions will be real and not some far-off dream or just part of a computer model or a physical model in Baton Rouge. As we reflect on what we've accomplished, we also have to take a look forward. We have a lot to look forward to, a lot to hope for. Just last week, the Louisiana legislature unanimously approved the 2023 Coastal Master Plan for a Sustainable Coast. Louisiana is the only state in the country with a dedicated, science-based, publicly informed roadmap for a resilient coast. This is the fourth iteration of this plan, and it builds on the capabilities and the advancements of previous plans, from the robust project selection process to improvement in predictive models and development of new risk metrics. The 2023 Master Plan is the most comprehensive and expansive plan to date. And ladies and gentlemen, if we implement every project in this master plan, Louisiana and our coastal communities will have less flood risk from tropical storms and hurricanes in 50 years than we do today. A better protected and more resilient coast should give Louisianans hope for decades to come. The fact is, when it comes to coastal protection and restoration, we are leading the country, and the world has taken notice. Other states and countries are looking to Louisiana, trying to replicate our approach to tackling this major problem in a comprehensive and principled manner. The credibility of our entire agency, the credibility of this entire effort, the effectiveness of our projects, the strength of our partnerships, and our ability to attract new funding largely comes from the quality and integrity of Louisiana's master plan. But the credibility of our agency and the credibility of the work we're doing here in Louisiana is also a testament to all of you in this room and the leaders who came before us. A little more than 20 years ago, Governor Mike Foster became the first Louisiana governor to make coastal restoration a priority for the state of Louisiana. He was out fishing one day and noticed that his GPS said he was technically over land, despite being surrounded by nothing but water. He went on to declare a holy war and went to work with about $40 million a year to address this issue. What would Governor Mike Foster say today? That in this year alone, the state of Louisiana will be investing a record-breaking $1.6 billion in coastal Louisiana. I also think about leaders like King Milling, who for over 20 years used his voice and his influence to help address Louisiana's land loss crisis. King has had a front row seat to watch the coastal program evolve, to witness how we've built on the foundation that he laid for us. King is the only volunteer I've ever heard of who had to retire from volunteering because we worked him too hard. I consider it a blessing and a privilege to have worked alongside King for many years, and his dedication to this issue still inspires me today. King, I am so thankful that you are here with us today, and Miss Ann, you are truly the best. And I want each person in this room today to know how grateful I am for having the opportunity to work alongside of you to help save the state we all love. And for those of you who have worked alongside of me and have gotten to know me well, you know that I am a man who tries to live every day with my faith at the center of my life. And my faith teaches me that there is a time for everything under the heavens. A time to give birth and a time to die. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to plant and a time to uproot the plant. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time of war and a time of peace. And so, my friends, there is also a time for one to close a chapter in his life and begin a new one. And that time for me is now. Effective July 3rd, I will be resigning as chairman of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority. Serving in this role has been the honor of a lifetime. Choosing to step down is not an easy decision, but it is the right one for me during this time in my life. I've been a part of the state's coastal program for over 15 years. I am someone who truly believes in the promise of South Louisiana. And I have been blessed with the opportunity to work alongside incredible people to restore and protect the place we call home. It is with great pride that I can say I am leaving the coastal program better than I found it. But today, I'm not thinking about our accomplishments or the groundbreakings. I'm thinking about the incredible people who I have been blessed to work with to make all the milestones and all the ribbon cuttings possible. From the CPRA staff who are here today, you represent the best of state government. To legislators, parish presidents, levy district directors, NGOs, port directors, and the various stakeholder groups across our state, we together have made our coast stronger. To Governor Edwards, thank you for giving me this incredible opportunity. You have been a great governor, an incredible boss. But most importantly, you are a really good man. And I want you to know that I hold you in the highest regards. But above all else today, I think about my own family. And how grateful I am for them. To my wife, Emily, who is here with me today, you have certainly endured and sacrificed more than people will ever know. But I will forever be grateful that you allowed me to do this job. And I want you to know that I love you. My mom and dad are also here today. Kyle and Sharon Kline. All I ever wanted to do in life was make you proud. And I want you to know that I'll always be proud to be your son. There's never a perfect time to leave, but now is the best time. I take great comfort in knowing that we now have a new updated master plan that will govern the state's activities for the next 6 years. And perhaps most importantly, my leaving is made easier in knowing that I am leaving the coastal program in good hands. The next CPRA chairman is a leader who is guided by science and evidence, not by politics, and a leader who has gained the admiration and respect of everyone who works on this issue. Effective July 3rd, Bryn Haas will be appointed as chairman of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority, and Greg Grandy will be appointed as CPRA Executive Director. Many of you know Bryn and Greg quite well. They have over 30 years of experience working in the coastal sector, spanning private industry as well as federal and state government. Very few know more than Bryn and Greg when it comes to Louisiana's coastal issues and CPRA solutions. These two gentlemen have my complete admiration, respect, and trust. So while I am leaving and while we certainly have many accomplishments to be proud of, I am convinced that our best days lie ahead. We should all take a moment to appreciate where we are as a coastal program and all that we have accomplished as a coastal family. But then it's right back to work. This moment is not the end of an era, but the beginning of a new chapter. We cannot shy away from the challenges ahead, from severe environmental scenarios to finding new revenue streams, implementing the next generation of transformational projects, and addressing resilience for our most vulnerable communities. The fight goes on, and the work continues. The coast of tomorrow is going to look a lot different than the coast of today. And that can be a scary thing to think about. But it can also be a call to action and motivate yourself to open yourself up to new things, new people, and new approaches. This effort demands constant work and constant adaptation. Some of this adaptation is going to be hard, but some will be transformational in the best way. We have an incredible opportunity in front of us. And I see this opportunity when I look at all the young people and all the new people who are passionate about this issue and dedicating themselves to it. I see it when CPRA chases new grant opportunities, or when we build new partnerships, when we develop new policies to address equity or workforce opportunity. So yes, my friends, the state of our coast is strong. But the coast of the future can be even stronger. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your hard work, for all of the green cards of support and public comments during the legislative session, for all the field trips, the white papers, and most importantly, the low bids. It's been a hell of a ride, and it's hard to say goodbye. But I am leaving this place in an extremely strong position and incredibly capable hands. If anyone can figure out how to solve this incredibly urgent and complex issue, it is the people of Louisiana. Next year, we will have a new governor. We can have the right projects, the required funding in place, but we can't move forward without the support of the highest office in this state. For the last 8 years, we've been fortunate to have the support of Louisiana's top leader. Governor John Bill Edwards has been a fierce and unyielding champion in the fight to protect and restore our coast. And while we are certainly going to miss his commitment to our program, fortunately for Miss Donna, Governor Edwards can't run for a third term. I do believe Ms. Donna has just about had enough. But during his 2 terms as governor, Governor Edwards has been a shining example of what it takes to combat our coastal issues. And he leaves behind a roadmap for his successor to continue the momentum. What John Bell Edwards has accomplished for our coast should never be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, for his final State of the Coast as governor, please help me welcome Governor John Bell Edwards.